Good afternoon, everyone, and I hope everyone is having a great Wednesday. As you can see, we are on our last week of the program. We are at week 12. Just like the PowerPoint slide says here, your 12th and your final tracker is due today. So please make sure you get that into me today so you can get credit for that. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start off discussing the success that you had from last week's action steps. We're then going to get to the final topic of the class, which is managing your weight and your health moving forward. Then we'll get to a few discussion questions to kind of mull over. We will then talk about the exciting part, which is the third program goal, which is the gift card. Okay. And then we will give you the program conclusion. Okay. All right. So last week's action steps. If you remember, we talked about the connection between your mental and your physical health, that they are interrelated and they are interconnected. So if you make a change in one, it can make a change either negative or positively in another. So we talked about that last week, and there was just several questions for you to really just kind of to mull over. The first one, since we met last week, did you identify a way or ways that you could improve your mental health? So hopefully you have already thought about that, or moving forward, you can think about that as well. And then the second question, since last week, did you identify a way or ways that you can improve your physical health? So hopefully you had a chance to kind of think about that since last week, and moving forward, how you can really answer that question as well. Okay, so again, a strong connection between your mental and your physical health, which now is just going to take us to our topic of the day, which is managing your weight and your health moving forward. And if you do recall, that was two of the three goals of the program, weight management, managing your health, and then the third goal, which is the gift card. Okay. Of course, the overarching thing we look at in this course with managing your weight and your health is that application of the five fundamentals. Okay. And that was using the guide to smart food choices. That was getting at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in per day, getting at least 64 ounces of water in per day. And then when you look at your other three food groups, your proteins, grains, and dairies, to make sure you're controlling the portions and you're choosing the right types. And then you have the option of meal replacements. Okay. And then that last fundamental was being physically active 30 to 60 minutes per day. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back and review each one of these five fundamentals, because these are very important in getting to the success you need to manage your weight and to manage your health. So the first one, I jumped ahead, is using the guide to smart food choices to help you manage your calories, really without having to count calories, which if you do want to count calories, that's perfectly fine. But if not, you can use this general guide to help you select the lower calorie foods and beverages, uh, when it's based on that anytime column, that portion control column, that occasional column within all the five food groups. Okay. So again, moving forward, I think it's very helpful to generally use and apply that guide to smart food choices. Again, it's all about the calorie density of foods. And then the next fundamental that's important to apply to help you manage your weight and your health is eating at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. Again, if you want to break that 5 up, that means 2 servings coming from fruits, 3 servings coming from vegetables. Of course, we always said that what can help you remember, uh, things is to use those My Plate tips to give you guidance on kind of the quality of those food groups. Okay. And when it comes to fruits, the My Plate tip is to focus on whole fruits, because when you focus on whole fruits, number one, it's going to retain all the vitamins, minerals, and the dietary fiber. Plus, the calorie content is going to be lower as compared to, say, concentrated juices, etc. Plus, the juices typically will not have the fiber. And then also, when it comes to your vegetables, they recommend to vary your vegetables, because there's no one single vegetable that will give you all the nutrients that you need. That's why it's important to think about the rainbow of colors of your different vegetables. Okay, so managing your weight and your health moving forward is your fruit and your veggie intake, at least 5 servings per day. All right, and then the next fundamental, of course, deals with choosing healthy types of your proteins, your grains, and your dairy, and then also making sure you're controlling those portions. Because really, with your proteins, grains, and dairy, uh, the content as far as calories can be a little bit higher when you compare it out to maybe your whole fruits and a lot of your veggies. Okay, so we have the My Plate tips to give you guidance. And when it comes to protein, the My Plate tip is to vary your protein routine and also to go lean with protein. And when they talk about varying your protein routine, if you do recall, there's animal protein sources and there's plant protein sources. So we recommend you get a variation uh, of those protein sources. Also, when it relates to your animal proteins, they want you to go lean, meaning when you go lean, you're going to reduce, if not eliminate, that harmful saturated fat we talked about. Plus, that's going to help you lower the calories in those as well. Okay. And that's where you can really look at food labels and look at that saturated fat content under there to help you when it talks about going lean. So again, varying your protein routine and going lean. All right. And then the next is your grains, that food group. And they recommend to make half of your grains whole grains. And the reason is because the whole grains is the one that will retain all of its vitamins, minerals, and dietary fiber, where a refined grain, for example, like white bread, it's been stripped of that fiber. Now they will go back in and enrich that white bread with vitamins and minerals. However, they never can restore that dietary fiber that was taken out. So make half your grains, whole grains, of course, control the portions as well. Plus, you can make some comparative shopping or choices with your grains as well. By looking at the food labels, you can control those calories just by doing some comparison. Okay. And then move to low fat to fat free dairy products, the last food group. When you do that, you're number one, going to lower calories. Number two, you're going to lower, if not eliminate, that harmful saturated fat. Okay. So again, moving to low fat to fat free dairy products. Again, all of this will help you manage your weight and your health moving forward. And then that last part of that fundamental about these calorie strategies is to use meal replacements. And again, this is optional, and that relates to frozen entrees, protein shakes, and nutrition bars. Of course, we did talk about some of the things to really look at with things like frozen entrees. Number one, look at the calorie content. Number two, look at the sodium content because it is a processed food. Again, that's where you can choose and compare different ones to help control the calories and the sodium content. Then you look at things like nutrition bars, really look at those because nutrition bars can typically have a lot of added sugars, which is something you want to reduce in your diet as much as possible. So look at those food labels with the nutrition bars, looking at the calorie content of them and looking at the added sugars. And then you have your protein shakes that uh, fall under this as well. Okay. So, and the goal there, if you are using this fundamental, is one, but no more than two a day. So, moving forward, if you are using meal replacements, it can definitely help you manage your weight and your health. All right, which takes us to the next fundamental, and I think that's 4 out of 5, is that water intake. And again, we chose that general goal of at least 64 ounces of water per day. Okay. And that's where you can try, of course, just plain water, but you can try sparkling water, seltzers, flavored water infused with fruits or herbs. So again, gives you some options as opposed to just consuming regular water. Okay, so a very important fundamental to apply moving forward to help you manage your weight and your health. And then lastly, as far as the 5 fundamentals to apply, is the physical activity fundamental of 30 to 60 minutes every day. We said that anything that gets you moving does count toward this goal. Of course, we said that any of these physical activity categories that you see here, the more intense those are, the more benefits that you can get. Of course, you see here with your physical activities, there are 4 categories that do count as physical activity. Number one, remember, is the common chores physical activity. Number two is the aerobic or cardio. Number three is the muscle strengthening. And number four is balance and coordination. Now, according to physical activity guidelines for Americans, if you're looking at 2 of those categories, they really recommend when it relates to that aerobic or cardio category of physical activity that you perform at least 150 minutes of those type uh, where you're elevating your heart rate and your breathing rate and you're sustaining it. When it comes to muscle strengthening, they recommend perform that at least 2 days per week. So if you want to get kind of specific with 2 of those categories. So again, moving forward to help manage your weight and your health is being physically active. Okay, moving your body in any capacity will count. Again, the more intense any of that movement is, the better results that you can get. So again, that wraps up the 5 fundamentals of the course to really apply, to really help reap the benefits there. Okay. And then last part here to manage your weight and your health moving forward, just some additional tips and things to remember to really help is number one, and we had a topic about this, is meal planning and meal prepping. Definitely number one, I think what really can lead to continue and more success is to plan out those meals. Remember, we had the topic about that, writing a grocery list out, planning what your meals will look like, even plan some things in there that may not be planned. So if something comes up and kicks you off that plan, just some little side notes there. So meal planning and shopping accordingly. Even if you want to get more intense, you can do some prepping of your meals in advance. Okay. And another additional tip, remember we talked about this, is reading food labels. Reading food labels, again, it can help you choose and compare, all of the nutrients that you need to get more of and the ones that you need to get less of. So very important to read food labels. Another tip is to have those calorie control strategies for when you go out to eat, if you have social events, we have holidays coming up, and then also that emotional hunger. And emotional hunger is not just negative emotions, but it can be positive emotions like celebrations. And we talked about these strategies in the original class. So again, have you some calorie control strategies for these. And then another tip is to make sure you practice mindfulness with your eating, meaning you cut off all distractions around you and you really focus on the foods that you're eating, the sensations, the smells, etc. Again, you want to remove those distractions because if you are distracted, you never know. You may not be really in tune with your hunger. You may just simply go back for seconds or thirds or etc. So again, stay in the moment with what you're eating. And then two more tips here to help manage your weight and your health moving forward. We talked about sleep. Sleep is very important, and we saw that connection between sleep and your health and also your weight as well. So think about the quality of your sleep and think about your quantity. And then lastly, another tip to help you manage your weight and your health moving forward is I recommend to set yourself some general rules, some general boundaries. I think that can help you. For example, like say sweets. If you do have a sweet tooth, you may just want to set yourself some boundaries that say in a 7-week period, excuse me, a 7-day period, I am only going to allow myself, say, 2 sweets, something like that. Another one may be that, out of a 7-day period, I am going to only allow myself maybe two, at the most three kind of cheat or treat meals a week. So again, I think it can help you if you set yourself some rules and some boundaries that can align with your lifestyle, okay? Again, additional tips to help manage your weight and your health moving forward, okay? And then just some discussion questions. Of course, I know we're not live today, but just some things for you to think about when you're watching this video moving forward is which fundamental or fundamentals do you need to improve on moving forward? Okay, if you're not quite at the goals for, say, fruits and vegetables, water intake, physical activity, just think about some ways that you can improve those and work on reaching those goals. And then one more is which fundamental or fundamentals have become a habit for you. Because when you form a habit with these fundamentals, it can really help your momentum going forward. So again, two questions that you can think about moving forward. Which now takes us to that last goal. Obviously, the first two goals of the class was health and weight management, but that third one is the opportunity to win one of the three $100 gift cards. Of course, there were two requirements to have your name thrown into the hat for one of the three gift cards. And this is number one, attendance. So you have to had attended 10 out of the 13 classes. And as far as submitting those trackers, we had 12 total trackers and you had to submit 12 of those. So those are the two requirements, again, for your name to be thrown in the hat for one of the three $100 gift cards. Now, I will tell you, you may know this, but we are teaching two classes. We're teaching my class, which is the Go Healthy Plus, and then we're also teaching an original class as well. One of my teammates, Ariel, is teaching the original Go Healthy class at the same time. So we're going to take her class participants and the class participants that I have. Everyone who meets the requirements, their name will be thrown into a hat, and then we will pick 3 winners. And once those winners are announced, we will get that to Kathy, and Kathy will let everyone know. And we should be picking the winners, I think, this Thursday, if not this Friday. So again, we will communicate that to Kathy, and Kathy will reach out to everyone about that. All right. And then lastly, to conclude the program, I've really enjoyed again the other 13 weeks with you all. Sorry that I had to do this recording today, but that's okay. But again, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed all the kind of interaction with everyone. And I definitely want to wish everybody continued success in your journey to better health and wellness. Okay. If you need anything beyond this class, we still are your wellness program. You can always reach out to me over email, or you can call my office number. You should have that on many of the communications that I do have. Other than that, that's all I have. I, again, wish everybody continued success. I hope you have a good holiday season coming up. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. Now, of course, obviously, you know this was recorded. You can go back if needed and look at any other recordings from the past. So, y'all have a great day, and I hope to see y'all down the road. Thank y'all very much. Goodbye.